Hi, James Spearman here. Not one of my typical videos, but this is one of the most unique aircraft on my field. Mark Hightower here with me. He's the aircraft owner. He's restored this and it is his baby. So I was going to give him an opportunity to talk about his biplane. Mark,
all right.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Well, what we're looking at here, this is a 1927 Waco Straight Wing. And it's a true biplane in that both wings are shaped exactly the same. Some people think that any airplane with two wings is a biplane. Some have a different shaped wing on the bottom, and that's actually called a sesquiplane. But this is a true biplane. Both wings straight as an arrow. That's why it's called a straight wing. They built by Waco Aircraft Company. A lot of people say Waco, but that's a town in Texas. It stands for Weaver Aircraft Company. They were built up in Troy, Ohio. This model was built between 1927 and 1932, and they produced about 1,600 of them. Very popular airplane. It kind of changed aviation. Today's technology, not so much, but this was a huge leap forward. It was one of the first aircraft to use hydraulic shock absorbers. Also had an adjustable horizontal stabilizers. A lot of aircraft before that, there was no trim control on these things, and it made flying real interesting. You're either pushing or pulling on the stick grill a lot. Another question I get, which is kind of funny, it just dawned on me. Everybody asks what this little guy down here for, and that actually is a wind generator. There's no engine-driven electrical generator on the engine. That's a 12-volt generator, puts out 10 amps, but it does good enough to charge the battery enough to run, to start it, run a radio, run a transponder, and lights and all that kind of stuff. Another thing that's unique, radial engine. This is just, I mean, you got to hear this thing fire up, but it's just the coolest thing ever. It's basically sounding like 7 Harley-Davidsons strapped together, and essentially is about the same horsepower. This was developed at a time when cooling was an issue, so they found by hanging all the cylinders out here in the wind like that, cooled really nice. The only downfall is drag. This is basically does nothing but slow the plane down, so that's why they've sort of like phased out and people went to flat engines and stuff, much more aerodynamic. But the horsepower to weight ratio of a radial engine was really good for its time. So that was another popular thing. The original engine on this airplane came from World War I. It was called an LX5. They had just a ton of surplus engines after World War I, so the government was basically giving them away cheap. So people designed airplanes around them. And then about 1929, so this engine was actually put on later. That's when they started 1929 was when they started putting the right whirlwind on these, and they did put Continentals on them as well. And then there were so many of these engines left over after World War II. This is actually a World War II engine, and it became a real popular conversion to put these on. The original engine weighed 400 pounds, but only produced 90 horsepower. There was a radiator up under the center section of the wing, and it was notorious for leaking fluid all over the passengers and pilot. And so this engine weighs 490 pounds, so by gaining 90 pounds, you triple the horsepower. So this thing is really like a rocket when it gets off the ground. You put the power to it, and 150 feet, I'm up in the air and flying, 200 feet at the most of the full load. Now, another misconception people have, they think that a biplane with the two wings and everything, and the horsepower, it's gonna glide a long distance. Unfortunately, all this drag converts over, or all this wires, the two wings converts to drag. So we'll cut this short because I got a helicopter coming. So on a biplane, a lot of people have the idea that they glide really far because you've got all this wing area. And actually the opposite is true. The two wings, the wires, the landing gear hanging out this, like I said, this radial engine, there's a lot of drag. So when you cut the power on this thing, you got to put the stick forward and aim at the ground. It scares a lot of people, but you got to keep your speed up, so that's, it doesn't have the best glide ratio in the world, but the good thing is it has a real low stall speed. So, you can nosedive it into a field and stall, at a much lower speed. Another thing, back in the early days, 1927, they didn't have airports, they had airfields. These were designed to land in fields. You basically land it in Farmer John's hayfield somewhere. And so that was why they put this robust landing gear up here in the front, help keep the prop a little higher off the ground. You got the nose up as you're landing, and you could land in some pretty rough terrain. The original wheels on these were 30 inches, were tall, like motorcycle tires. They were 30 by 5s, and of course we went to these for street. Originally this had 30 by 5 tires on it, which were much taller, and that's so you could land in a field. It would go over ruts a lot better. But for landing on paved surfaces, we've got these smaller tires on here. They're rounder. You know, the original tires were tall and skinny, and you landed straight into the wind. These will take a crosswind a lot better. You know, they're a little bit more robust in that aspect. Different brakes on it too. That was a field approval to get those approved by the FAA to put on. They didn't really need the brakes that much. You land in a field, it slowed down pretty quick, but on the pavement, it's good to have modern disc brakes that don't grab like the old ones. The old brakes were notorious for grabbing on you too, or if they worked at all, you know, so. Well, that's about all I can think of. You know, it's a fun airplane to fly. I'll tell you, just flying in an open cockpit biplane, for 12 years I did tours here, took people for rides, and for James and I, you know, we didn't think nothing of getting in an airplane, flying around, no big deal. But for everybody who went flying with me, it was the greatest job ever because everybody just loved it. Everybody had the time of their lives. They just, I don't even know how to describe it, because once they got up and they did it and they experienced being out in the open, it's like a convertible. You've got a windshield in front of you, but you're sitting out in the open. You stick your hand out there, there's nothing but wind, you know? So it was quite the experience for people. And it was a great job to do for 12 years, but retired now, so. And good he's doing the interview today, because guys arriving tonight. Tomorrow the plane's heading down to Miami. So it'll be out of here tomorrow.
Awesome. Well, Mark, thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you.
Good talking to you.
Happy flying.